Maya signed a petition once. A small thing. A clipboard handed to her outside a coffee shop. She barely read it. She just signed. 3 weeks later, the same person knocked on her door. This time, they wanted her to volunteer every Saturday for 6 months. She said yes to that too. And for a long time, Maya didn't understand why. What happens in that moment, between the small yes and the big yes, is one of the most consistent findings in all of psychology. And once you see it, you will notice it everywhere. In 1966, 2 Stanford researchers named Jonathan Friedman and Scott Fraser ran a quiet experiment in the neighborhoods of California. They approached homeowners with a small request. Hang a little sign about driver safety in their window. Almost everyone agreed. It was small. It was reasonable. Cost nothing. A few weeks later, they came back. This time, they asked people to put a large, ugly billboard in their front yard. A different group. People who had never been asked the small question. Agreed only 20% of the time. But among those who had said yes to the small sign, the number jumped to 70%. That gap, 50 percentage points, is not a coincidence. It is a mechanism. Here is what is happening inside the mind. The moment you say yes to something, however small, your brain begins to file it as identity. I am someone who supports this. I am someone who participates. I am someone who helps. And identity, once formed, is not something the mind surrenders easily. The second request doesn't feel like a new question. It feels like a test of who you already said you were. This is called the foot in the door technique, and it is used every single day. In sales conversations, in relationships, in political campaigns, in the quiet architecture of how institutions ask things of people. Beat 1. The first yes is not just a yes. It is a self-definition. Beat 2. Each subsequent yes becomes easier. Not because the request is smaller, but because your identity is now pulling you toward consistency. Beat 3. The person asking doesn't need to convince you. They just need you to have already convinced yourself. Beat 4. This works even when the second request comes from a completely different person. Because the commitment was never really to them. It was to the version of yourself that said yes. Maya eventually learned to pause at small requests. Not to refuse them, but to ask herself, what is this small yes actually opening the door to? That question doesn't make her suspicious of everyone. It makes her honest with herself. Because the goal is not to stop saying yes. The goal is to say yes to the things that truly deserve it. And to recognize when you are being walked toward a yes you never actually chose. Every yes is a small door. Make sure you know what room is on the other side. If this series speaks to you, follow along. There are 8 more mechanisms to explore, and they only get more surprising from here.